Solve the equation 2 over x minus 1 minus 2/3 is equal to negative 1 over x plus 1. Here we have a rational equation, and the best way to go about solving this is to start by eliminating the fractions. I'm going to do that by multiplying through by a lowest common denominator, which includes every factor that we see here in our original denominators. The LCD is 3 times x minus 1 times x plus 1. So let's multiply our original equation then by that lowest common denominator. 3 times x minus 1 times x plus 1. Multiplying times our first fraction. Notice that our x minus 1s are going to cancel, leaving us with 2 times 3 times x plus 1. Moving to our second fraction, we've got a minus sign in front. Notice that our 3's are going to cancel prior to multiplying, leaving a 2 times x minus 1 times x plus 1. And on the right-hand side of the equation, we'll notice that the x plus 1's cancel, leaving negative 1 times 3 times x minus 1. So we've gotten rid of the fractions. I'm going to erase that equal sign. I don't like the looks of that there. We've gotten rid of the fractions. Now let's simplify the result. Multiplying, 2 times 3 is 6. We'll take that product in our next step times x plus 1. With our second term, we've got 2 times. Foiling this difference and sum of two binomials gives x squared minus 1. That's equal to, on the right-hand side, a negative 3 times x minus 1. Continuing to multiply using the distributive property, we get a 6x plus 6 minus 2x squared and plus 2. On the right-hand side, a minus 3x and plus 3. So we're left with a quadratic equation. Let's go ahead and put this in standard form by moving terms all to the right-hand side so we can make this leading term a positive value. So I'm going to move things to the right, leaving 0 on the left. Adding 2x squared to both sides gives a 2x squared on the right-hand side. On the left, we've got 6x. On the right, a negative 3x. Subtracting 6x from both sides gives a minus 9x. On the left, 6 plus 2 is 8. We have 3 on the right. Subtracting 8 from both sides, 3 minus 8 is a negative 5. Now let's factor this equation. If this trinomial on the right factors, it will factor as two binomials. The leading terms must be 2x and x to give a product of 2x squared. Our factors of negative 5 they're going to work in here are a plus 1 and a minus 5. Let's check that. Our inner product is positive x, the outer product negative 10x, and that gives this middle term negative 9x, so it's correct. Now using our zero factor property, 2x plus 1 is equal to 0, or x minus 5 is equal to 0. Solving for x, 2x is negative 1, or x is a negative 1/2. On the right-hand side, we get x is equal to 5. Now, when solving rational equations, you have to be very careful that your solutions that you get do not cause a 0 denominator. And as we quickly visually check these in our original equation, we can notice that neither of them does cause a 0 denominator. I do recommend also that you go ahead and substitute these into the original equation to check for accuracy and make sure you've made no errors. You will find then that the solution set for this equation is negative 1/2 and 5.